AITA for calling my stepdad a hypocrite after asking my grandpa to walk me down the aisle at my wedding. My stepdad, who I 24F called dad most of my life, is the only dad I ever knew. He met my mom when I was only 1 and they got married right after my 2nd birthday. So I literally have no memories of my life without him. And I would say most of my life I saw him as my dad and not my stepdad. He was the male figure who raised me and was there, but I was never equal to his bio kids. He would call me his stepdaughter when asked how many kids he had. I heard him say it even when I was little. I always called him dad or him and mom my parents. It hurt a lot when I was younger. My younger sister was often called my first baby girl by him. My younger brother was called his firstborn. And while technically they are his first bio son and daughter, I was always expected to treat him like my real dad. But he was not always claiming me as his real daughter. Things started to change for me when I was 16. One of my friends called him my stepdad and I didn't correct him. My stepdad overheard and he told me he was hurt that after all he'd done for me, I'd let him be delegated to the lesser title of stepdad. I told him I was his stepdaughter most of the time, so why shouldn't he be my stepdad? My stepdad was still good to me. It was just some things really hurt when I was younger, and some things pissed me off when I was older, like the incident above. I did talk to him and mom about it, and I was gaslit into believing he didn't say stepdaughter, or he'd say that sometimes it's important to distinguish. But none of these were doctor appointment incidents. I always felt like it would have been easier if he had been consistent with not my kid for me. At least then I wouldn't have been so confused and hurt as a younger kid. My grandparents noticed. I think what took their notice most was when I was 8 and I was worried I couldn't be his real daughter. I asked my stepdad to adopt me and he changed the subject. My stepdad's parents and his siblings were also there and they looked shocked. That I'd asked. I was never called a granddaughter by his parents or a niece by his siblings. But they were grandma and grandpa and auntie and uncle to me. Grandpa really stepped up for the emotional support, and when COVID restrictions happened, my fiancé and I moved in with him temporarily since he was alone and he knew we wanted to be in a home and not a cramped apartment. Which is why, when I got engaged, I asked grandpa to walk me down the aisle. My stepdad was pissed, offended again, and he told me as much. I brought up how he talked about watching his 2 little girls get married, my 2 sisters, and never his 3. So why would he be taking on such a big task for his not little girl? He told me I was being so nitpicky, and I told him he was a hypocrite to treat me as not a daughter but expect to be treated as a dad. He told me I didn't know the meaning of the word and I should be more appreciative of all the things he gave me. AITA. Your mother's is awful for allowing this treatment of you, then continuing to breed with him. Yikes, hope your siblings don't have their behavior or attitude. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding and hope you and your grandpa have a wonderful walk down the aisle. NTA. You can't have both ways, meaning your stepdad, I assume the grandfather was on the maternal side. Your NTA. He set the tone. He doesn't get to change the tune to enjoy the spoils of being dad when it suits him. I should be more appreciative of all the things he gave me. Does he mean the things all responsible adults give their children and stepchildren? Food, shelter, clothing, etc. That's their job. It's what we sign up for when we become parents, step-parents. Geez, send him a Hallmark thank you card and call it a day. NTA, you made the right choice to ask your gramps to walk you. Your stepdad and your mom sound ridiculous for not understanding how his comments and behavior growing up affected you. Of course he did. Just keep reminding yourself that bullies are bullies and they will never change. You are getting married, starting a new family with your husband. Let that be enough. Hopefully your relationship with your mom and sibling is good and will remain that. For his little speeches, ignore them or tell him to stop being so emotional. You can also point out that he will have the opportunity of walking his first baby girl down the aisle, so your event obviously won't be meaningful and special to him. NTA he drew the line in the sand and made it clear you were his step and not real daughter despite being essentially around your entire life. I bet he's more concerned about the optics of people asking why he's not walking you down the aisle rather than actually being upset about not walking you down. And chin up, down the aisle with Grandpa, he reaps what he sows. And how you embraced him as your dad. He always held a barrier up to you by referring to you as stepdaughter, not adopting you when you asked. He made multiple references to his children as being the biological ones. Others noticed it, and luckily your grandfather stepped up. A hidden in all this is your mother, no mention of her being complicit in allowing your stepfather to isolate you. NTA, your stepdad has been a hypocrite and you were right to call him out on it. You only did so after he forced your hand. I'm glad to hear you have a great relationship with your grandfather. I hope your wedding is great and I'm sure you will treasure the memory of your grandfather walking you down the aisle. NTA, but I'd also ask him if in his will you're set to inherit the same amount as his bio kids. NTA, he is suffering from FAFO. He was happy with the divide on his terms, so he has to deal with the fallback now. NTA, he's the one who doesn't understand what it means. You gave him the opportunity to adopt you and he didn't even want to discuss it. Hooray for Grandpa. He gets top billing and rightfully so. You are lucky to have him and vice versa. NTA, and I think you're spot on when you call him a hypocrite. His reaction to that is frankly just more gaslighting. Your stepdad tried to have his cake and eat it, and that's not how it works. You did the right thing by stopping to put up with it. Frankly, if he doesn't drop it, you might want to consider not even giving him an invitation to your wedding, even though it will certainly cause more drama. Sometimes you really need to draw a line in the sand in order to put an end to things like this. But don't do this if you don't want to risk extra drama, since it can easily escalate to the point where not even your mother will attend your wedding. NTA, it's your wedding. Even if he was your bio dad, it's still your choice, but it seems he made that choice easy. I had my stepdad walk me. My bio dad attended and was salty af that he wasn't walking me, but he didn't raise me. My stepdad did. Absolutely not. You did right by you and you did right by your grandfather. NTA, he doesn't care about walking you down the aisle. He cares about people wondering why he didn't walk you down the aisle. Have a wonderful wedding. NTA, for shame that man. I've raised two daughters as my own for over 3 decades. There has been no one else but me throughout, so they're mine and I'm theirs. The word step has no meaning in our world. Hold your head high, young lady. AITA, he doesn't see you as his daughter. He only sees himself as your beneficiary. Oh look, how grateful you should be to him for all the things he gave you and for all that he has done for you. This type of attitude honestly makes me want to treat you different. His family treated you different and at no point he has apologized or admitted this circumstance. You owe him absolutely isn't given, so that someone has to be grateful for it. Love is unconditional, so bottom line is, he might like you but he doesn't love you as his daughter. Hence, he isn't your father and doesn't deserve the title. You can't be denied as a daughter while he expects to be revered as a father. He can't have it both ways. NTA. NTA, you can't expect to be given best by someone when you didn't give your best either. To expect different is entitled, and to try to call it out only when people do it to you is hypocritical. Your stepfather holds double standards, one for himself and another for everyone else. Either he has brainwashed himself into believing his lies or he is actively lying. I'd call him out for the things in the past. Shame on your mother as well. AITA, I don't know the meaning of that word. Yes you do, because you watched him be a father to your siblings while othering you your whole life. I'm surprised you even still talk to them, especially your mom, since she let him do that to you your whole childhood. After that conversation, I would probably never speak to them again. Years of gaslighting. My mom, former stepmom, has never once called me her stepchild. After her and my dad divorced, she stayed in my life as a mother. Even with doctor's appointments, I never heard her say, I'm the stepmom. It makes no sense for there to be a situation where you have to clarify, especially since it seems you bio dad wasn't in the picture. I am so sorry you're going through this. I hope it gets better. He's the one who started making the distinction between daughter and stepdaughter. He's the one who continued to do so even after talking about it. Definitely NTA. He's made it clear that he views you as a stepdaughter, and now he knows you only view him as a stepdad. Please tell me it's not over for him yet. At the wedding, snub him and keep him out of the photos. Also, if you have kids, introduce them as Grandma and Bob, or whatever his name is. How loved your response. NTA. NTA, nothing is wrong with him being just your stepdad, because he is your stepdad and not your adopted dad, as long as he treated you with respect. I guess your stepdad and mom should have had a conversation with you concerning how he wanted to be seen before they got your day with your grandpa walking you down the aisle. He met FAFO. I was raised by a stepdad who always treated me as his own, from the lectures to giving me encouragement and telling everyone about his oldest daughter. And it's wild for me to find Reddit stories where people say it's not your child. You only raised them since they were 8. To me, that is parent-children, but I digress. NTA. Until I had an amazing dad who was my stepdad, but he never treated me like I wasn't his. Is and to never use their name for anything I didn't and still don't, as I stand on my own. But he and my grandma, his ma, told them that if they continued to be disrespectful to me, they'd be disowned. Your stepdad is a tool and not worth letting him walk you down the aisle. Grandpa FTW. I wonder how much of your mom's relationship with stepdad is leveraged on your existence. NTA, he drew a line that you chose to respect. He isn't deserving. He wanted you to appreciate being called a stepchild while claiming his bio children as his first son and daughter, even though you were their first. Yes, appreciation is what you are missing. I am glad your grandfather was able to walk you down the aisle. Now when you have children, teach them a step-grandpa kind of name for him. Maybe step-pop. He is a hypocrite. Plain and simple. He's just mad you called him out on it. Thanks for watching.